This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first I want to talk about something we all know way too much about, moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out, whether you're looking to move now or in the future. It's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast.
I'm so excited to have Cameryn and Ekeler on the podcast. Your dad is the special teams coordinator for the Tennessee Vols. Thank you for joining us.
Of course, we're excited.
Thanks for having us.
Growing up, how many states did your dad coach in?
Ooh, see, you. Oh, man.
I think it's like 8 or 9.
No, it's more than that, right?
Well, we've moved like 12 times, but I think it's only been to like 8 or 9 different states because we've
doubled up. We've doubled up.
Yeah. So I'd say 9.
I'm around it to a clean 10.
I'm good with that. That's
a lot of moves. And
Yeah.
What can you tell Coach's kid who is nervous about moving?
I would say there's good people everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're moving. What we found, we've lived in like every single region of the country, and every single time we've moved somewhere, it doesn't matter if it's California or Nebraska or Georgia, we have been able to find a good community of people any place we move. And so that's what I would say.
I'd have to say the experiences that you will have kind of meeting and interacting with people of so many different cultures, of so many different environments, and so many different types of people, those are invaluable skills that very few people out there have. And if you are able to take all those lessons that you will learn just by virtue of moving around, you will go very far, because it's not something that people really can do. So a lot of people kind of have their one group, have their one culture that they grow up in, and that there's a lot of great things about that. But you, as a coach's kid, have really, I would call it an advantage of moving around, going to so many different places, and just speaking personally, that has helped me tremendously in my career. And it's a rare skill. So take advantage of it.
It's a very rare skill. What's 1 or 2 things that really helped you get plugged into a new city?
I feel like for us growing up, we all played sports, which I feel like especially moving in high school and middle school really helped us kind of have like a group of friends before we started school. I would say also my family were Christians, and so we like to find a good church, and throughout that, like really getting involved, no matter how long you think you're going to be there, like joining a small group, like meeting people, all of that, like that, those just get you the great people that you want to spend your time with and grow with.
Be involved, be confident, and just, on day one, you walk into school, just own it. You're the new kid, and that's scary. And I know that I have been clammed up and frozen a lot of times in my life, but own it and just go and talk to people. And I think you'll be surprised at how many, like Cameryn was saying earlier, how many nice people there are everywhere.
What would you tell Coach's kid who's about to start a new school and doesn't know anyone?
Probably what I just said.
Yeah, kind of. Honestly, just talking to people, because I've done it both ways, where it's like I go in and I'm super nervous and I sit by myself at lunch and I don't do this, don't do that. But I also, like, when I started to kind of lean into my personality a little bit and just like trust that I had the ability to make friends, then I was more outgoing and more likely to talk to people. And once I did, like JJ was saying, it's so easy just to find like nice people that you want to be friends with. Because no one's gonna be like, oh, get away from me, don't talk to me. Like it's weird for that. But like everyone else should be like, oh, like it's so nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself. And it's just a great way to meet people.
Especially because is the new kid, and you kind of learn this as you get a little bit older. The new kid, you're cool, you're mysterious. Nobody knows about you. Play into that.
Definitely.
Like play that up, and it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah. And if you're just kind to everyone, then I mean, people can't dislike someone who just treats everyone right and is just super kind to everyone. So if you just hold that, then you'll be good to go.
What type of impact do you see both of your parents having? My
dad is, you could maybe say, notorious for his Twitter account. And it's one of the silliest things that you'll maybe ever read, but he does it very intentionally. He is always trying to brighten the people around him, and he's trying to really just kind of make people smile at any opportunity. And so just watching that, and even it's, we'll get text messages. I know Cam and I both will get screenshots of a Twitter draft, and we don't understand the word of what he's saying. Sometimes there's so much of his own slang, and there's just, he puts apostrophes in random places in words, but it's because he wants to put out joy into the world, and he tries constantly. Even, I mean, geez, he works more than, I mean, shoot, like coaches work insane hours, more than probably like any of us will ever work in our lives. And despite, I mean, he's tired a lot, but despite that, he goes out of his way to make sure that he is just exuding joy. And that's something I really admire. And I'll let Boo take mom.
I was going to say, I completely agree with that. I feel like with him being gone so much so, my mom is also having to do a lot, but hers is like very different. I think overall, just for both of my parents, they both just like preach positively in treating people right, and they get involved and they help in any way, shape, or form they can. Like with my dad, it's just like making people's days better, like making sure their mind is right and positive and focused. And my mom, like, if anyone in the whole world needs any sort of help, my mom is the first person to jump on it and will do whatever she can. Will follow up. Like, we're just so blessed, honestly, to have two phenomenal parents that just, I mean, they're incredible. Honestly, I might be biased, but I've seen it over and over again.
For sure, but
how they've touched people. So
we hit the freaking jackpot, 100%.
How does that inspire you?
Honestly, I feel like it has just made me want to make every day the greatest day ever, and just like to treat people right. I feel like it just morally, it has set me up for success in my life, because I never want to be seen as like a victim because of like how many times I've had to move. And so it's just like, how can you change that like a negative situation into a positive one? Because I feel like people who had to move like 10 times, you can either be like, wow, like this is so hard whatsoever, or you can be like JJ and be like, I've gotten so much out of this. This has been such an incredible experience. And I feel like just having parents like that has like shifted our whole entire mindset and just changed like everything, honestly.
And it's okay, because it is hard. It's really hard. I moved my senior year of high school. You did too, but you're a little bit different. You went 4 for 4. Moved my senior year of high school away from probably like one of the favorite places I've ever lived. And that was hard. That crushed me for a long while. And that's okay. And so, but you take that experience, and what mom and dad have really shown is, hey, you play the hand you're dealt. They've taken the word good out of my vocabulary. We don't know what that means. Boo's laughing because you'll see him and he'll ask, oh, how's your day? If somebody says good, he's like, what? What does it mean? But it's a mindset thing. And when you have a mindset like that, like Cameryn was saying, absolutely sets you up for just massive, ludicrous amounts of success. And you wake up every morning and you're just already in that right mindset. And that's dad. And that's a huge part mom too, who does so much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
They're an
he got
incredible
4
team.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 kids, and mom is, I mean, we all play sports. We all had clubs, activities, and before I could drive, it was mom was shuttle, she was groceries, cooking. I mean, like, and so looking back at all of that as an adult now, I'm blown away.
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
holy crap! How?
Adult kind of, it's like, I don't know how they did that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's like, man, I sometimes don't make dinner for myself.
I know.
How did she
No.
every night? How did she pull that off?
Yeah. What are some ways your dad was able to show you how important you are to him, even though he's not able to be at every single event?
Oh, I
Ooh.
love that question.
At Georgia, he made it a point to, like, every other month on a Friday, he'd pull us out of school and he'd be going on a recruiting trip to like Atlanta or Charlotte or where have you. And we would just go. And so, and usually we'd go to, it was 9 times out of 10, we went to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that was, and so he would make an effort and get your dad to get him on this, pull him out, pull you out of school. It was awesome. Best thing we ever had. It was like, all right, it's my Friday. Let's go.
Yeah.
But that was one of the ways that I think he really was intentional, where even though he was still working and we'd get to the high school and he'd be like, all right, JJ, just kind of stand behind me. Like, I got to watch this kid talk with the coaches, whatever. That wasn't the point. The point was, I was there with him. He was present. We would, we'd talk the whole night, go get dinner, whatever. It was very intentional time that he really did set aside to drag his kids along with him to recruit.
I completely agree with that. I also think that he would always ask us what was going on, even if he couldn't go to a game or an event. He would always make a point to call us every single night and hear all about it. And something I really respect about him is that anytime he came home from work, it doesn't matter if he had worked 12 hours that day, he would spend time with us in the living room, want to know all about our days. He could work 13, 14 hours straight and then drive straight to a volleyball game. And whenever he was with us, it was never about football. It was never about work, which is crazy because of how stressful the job is. But when he was with us, he made a point to leave all, work was at work. And then when he was with us, it was all about us all the time. And I don't know. I really respect that. It was super, super great.
It's a hard switch to flip, and he did it so effortlessly.
Oh yeah, he flipped it it was night and day.
Even, I mean, geez, when we were in California and the head coach got fired 5 games into the season, we wouldn't have known. I mean, just based on the way that he came home and was hanging out with the kids, we would have had no clue. I think we played knockout the next day.
Yeah, we did.
For a few hours, just
He told us before we went to school in case we heard about it, but before that, we had no idea. We were like, "Oh, shoot, he got fired."
It's all right, California's gonna be a short one.
Yeah, it was 6 months, but
I was closer to 7. Come on,
give or take.
What's something that your mom has done helping you in a transition?
Oh, she's done it all. She's Superwoman. If she's been so my dad kind of unintentionally brings the chaos, and my mom is literally the glue that has kept together this entire family for everyone's entire lives.
Undoubtedly.
Enrolled in school, taking us everywhere. She's so involved and so present and so just great at everything, honestly, that we would have been in shambles if it wasn't for her. She's just she's literally Superwoman. It's insane.
Yeah, she's taught me just how to be resilient. I think that's probably one of the best ways to describe her, is she just, whatever the heck is happening around her, unfazed, and she finds a way to get it done. Yeah,
we just had to show up to the new house, and I mean, we'd have to unpack, but everything was already done. She already had ideas, dinner was on the table. She's just crazy.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
Do you think moving has brought you closer to your siblings and parents?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
0 question. It's I'd say almost to the more we moved, the closer we got.
100%. Because every single time we move, we're each other's only friends when we get there. So by default, we're always hanging out. And we're each other's safety people. It's you go into school and you see I would see JJ and be like, all right, like I'm good, like my brother's here.
Yeah,
Or,
there's
like,
a friendly face.
yeah. So I'd say definitely.
How has it been a benefit to you in your life by growing up as a coach's kid?
JJ.
Well, I'm, speaking right now, I work largely in management, where I have to deal with a ton of people scattered across the country. And so for me, and I know for Cameryn as well, we can walk up to somebody on the street and just strike up a small talk conversation with them. And it's like, oh, where are you from? I'm from Norman, Oklahoma. Really? And chances are we've lived near them. And just the instantaneous common ground is such a cool benefit, and it helps you connect almost immediately with a ton of different people. And I'll probably never be lost wherever I go because I've had to learn so many different. I've really learned how to read a map, and how to navigate, but just there are so many random benefits that I know I'm not even hitting them all. I know Cameryn is probably sitting there like, oh, you're missing this, this, and this. And so, but like, there are a ton of benefits to it.
Like truly, you can walk into any room and talk to anyone. And I like was not always like that. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but I was like very introverted. I loved reading at all times. Didn't really have interest in talking to people. And now like I have zero problem just walking up to anyone and being like, oh, like, hey, how are you? Like, how's your day? Just talking to anyone, meeting people. I think it's made me a lot more confident in myself because I really had to get to know myself in order to let others get to know me so many different times. I've kind of had to refine that, but I would say those are the biggest things for sure.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.